All right, we're on D3, page 27, and I'm going to go ahead and close out some of these panels that I don't really need, like my brushes panel and all of that. At this point, we've got our logo with some text on it, and we're going to add some things on the inside of this. So off to the side, I'm just going to scoot over here to the side, just to the artboard over here on the side, and we're going to create an ellipse and then use the direct selection tool to kind of turn it into another like feather shaped thing. Size doesn't really matter right now. So you're just going to draw you an ellipse like so. Grab your direct selection tool or press A, and then we're going to click on the ends. And remember, use the buttons at the top to convert to a corner point. Okay, and that's pretty much it. We're going to use the convert point button and do that. So we've got that little thing there. One thing that's kind of hard to do is to make a little swoop effect, and using our warp or distort or transform effects, we can achieve that rather than trying to draw it, because it'd be really hard to draw. So I'm going to go back to my selection arrow. I'm just pressing V on my keyboard. I'm going to go to Effect, Distort, and Transform. And then under that, Twist. And we're going to pull that up and just change an angle and just like keep pushing it. Hold it down. Okay. So at about 60 or so, this is what it looks like. And it's going to depend too on your shape. If your shape is longer and thinner, then this is going to look a little different. This is one of those generated special effects. So if you pull, see, it's gonna change how this looks, because it is really based on your size and your shape of your initial ellipse. Okay, so once you get it kind of like you like it, we're gonna expand it, because if we don't expand it and you start turning this guy around, when you get to a certain point, well, it's not really messing up too bad. Sometimes it gets to be a hot mess. Okay, but this one's looking all right, probably because it's pretty symmetrical. We're going to go ahead and expand Object and Expand Appearance. See, now it is actually a finalized shape. Okay, we are going to duplicate the swoop. So Alt-Drag, again with the selection arrow, holding down the Alt key. I'm just going to Alt-Drag down, and we're going to make the bottom one smaller, rotated, and kind of that same orange as the background of the logo. So I'm going to make it smaller. And I mean, everybody who does this is going to look a little different. So it's kind of okay that it doesn't all match up. All right, something like that. Now our top one, our initial one, we're going to make white. And then our lower one, we're going to make the same color as this orange. So I can't remember which one I used. I think it's that one. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. All right. And we want this to be essentially on bottom. So I'm going to have to arrange mine to the back because mine is not. So I'm going to arrange that to the back. Okay, so I've got my white one, and then I've got this one here. And again, you can have this at a different size or a different angle. You can even make it thinner if you want. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to show you a cool little effect that you can do. And you can do this effect with text too. It's a really neat effect. So we're going to select only these two shapes. So click the top one, hold Shift, click the bottom one. And then we're going to access the Blend tool. If you don't know where that is, press W on your keyboard. It'll help you find it. It's this one over here that looks like some overlapped shapes, like a rectangle with two circles over top. And we are going to click on the top shape and then click on the bottom shape. And bam, it blends them into each other. Isn't that neat? Now, you can access options for this in the Properties panel in the Quick Actions section over here. So there's a button that says Blend Options. You give that a click, you can see we have a bunch of different options for these. So right now it's set on Smooth Color, so it's just smoothing the color between. But notice if you go to like Specified Steps, it's at 191 because it made 191 copies to get from one to the next. But what if I do like 10 and press Tab? See, now you're getting, it's as if you drew a whole bunch of them. But again, if I press Control Y, this is all going to be fake. If I press Control Y, like it's fake, there's still only the two. But the blend options are making those changes. Okay. For your example, I used 5, so I'm going to go ahead and use 5 here as well. But you can feel free to do however you want. It's just a really neat way to do some different like color gradations and just make it look kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And then go back to my regular arrow tool here to drag this into position. and you can just kind of decide where you want it to go. We are going to throw some text over top of it, so you are going to want to make it a little bit bigger and position it so that we can throw some letters over it in a little bit. I'm going to rotate mine around so it doesn't touch my Toucan Tropics T and all of that. There we go. Now, it's probably going to be more ideal. You could leave this unexpanded. I'm going to expand it, but remember, once you expand, you won't be able to access blend options, because when you expand it, it's all going to become separate shapes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Edit, object, expand, and we're going to expand all of that. Okay, see, now you can see it's a bunch of different ones. I am going to go ahead and group those if they're not, which I think they will be. Let me click off of it. Yeah, they're already grouped because they came from that blend. Okay, that gets you to the bottom of page 27, and we'll pick up in the next one. Be sure to save if you have not saved recently.